Welcome to Seller Sessions. I am your host today, Sharon Evan. And today, Anthony's been on many times, but for the first time with me, we have on Anthony Lee and Barkis. Patty is back as well. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. Great to be
I,
here.
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you so much for having me.
First of all, thank you so much to both of you for agreeing at the last minute to come on. I was supposed to have a different show, and then I saw all the talk about this, and I was like, all right, we have to make a show on this. And you guys both agreed at the last minute, so I appreciate you both. Okay, Anthony, if anyone lives under a rock and doesn't follow your 100 million people that follow you on TikTok, can you let them know who you are?
Yes, I am Anthony Lee, the subject matter expert for Amazon and Canopy Management. Um, as such, I just make a bunch of content, as you just alluded to. I have TikTok. I also put it on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. And it's really just me rambling about stuff that I happen to encounter in this crazy Amazon world.
You are one of the first people that I started watching when I first started watching stuff about Amazon. So you're one of the people that I actually respect a lot. I mean, of course, you too, Barkis, but you and I already know each other quite well. And Anthony and I only really spoke today, but I feel like you know, I'm like a fangirl. Anyway, Anthony, you're amazing. I'm really, really looking forward to talking today. Barkis, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I know that you've been on since your new job, but can you
Yeah.
let us know, what's happening with you?
Yeah. Bark is Patty, head of growth at Emergent. We're an aggregator, and then so my primary roles are brand awareness for us and creating content, and then also initially vetting some deals that come through the pipeline. So wearing a couple different hats here, which is cool. I like it. Um, yeah, just
Awesome.
staying busy.
You are. You're I feel like you're everywhere.
I'm in too
Um
many places. Yes.
you're yeah, the same with Anthony as well. All right, we have a lot of people in the live today because I'm sure also because you're both here and also because of the subject. So today we are going to be speaking about all the latest saga around rebates. I'm probably going to talk less today and just let you guys talk it out.
I'm just
But
arguing.
man, I'm going to put it all on you guys today. But I want to say before we start that we have a lot of friends in this industry that are impacted by all of these different scenarios. So we're very respectful of those people. And we're not calling anyone out. We're just talking about facts of what we're seeing that's going on in the industry. Agreed amongst all of us?
Yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Anthony, we'll start with this. What can you tell us about how this all started?
So, speaking of friends in the industry,
Yeah.
like right there, you know, basically. So here's the thing, though. The ground has kind of been shaking a little bit since even before this. I think the little reported on, but kind of a big deal, um, reporting done in the what is it, ASTG group,
Yep.
where they were talking about Amazon announced that they were going to start suppressing listings that had questionable reviews, right?
Mm.
And nobody made a big deal out of that at the time. They were like, oh, you know, Amazon's been kind of going after reviews for a while. But to me, I was like, oh, this is one of those chain reaction events. This means that they're coming in and purposefully, you know, cleaning up shop with regard to something. And this was what, probably 2-3 weeks before everybody got these notices that are up on the screen right now, right? So to me, that kind of was the beginning. Like, all right, they're starting to take action again. And then, not but a couple weeks later, we get API MWS access pulled from two popular services, And then a whole bunch of people get this reminder, hey, don't forget, you can't violate the seller code of conduct. Like, how strange, like, are these things related? And obviously some people were like, no, of course not. And other people were like, yeah, it's very obvious that they are. But this action left more questions than answers, because Amazon didn't bother to tell anybody, well, why did you do this? Why did you remove them from your app store after you obviously had already approved both of them? Like, what's this all about? So that's when the speculation began.
So for anyone who's listening on the podcast that can't see, we have on the screen 3 different emails. One that a seller who is a client of mine received, where it's reminding them that manipulating sales rank is against terms of service, and all sorts of different things about acting fairly and not misusing, all sorts of different things like that. And 2 very well-known rebate companies that have been pulled from Amazon's what's it called, developer what's it called, Anthony? MWS.
Yeah. They lost access to the API that gives them MWS.
So that's how it all started, and then everyone in the industry started talking about this. Now I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and I'd like for you guys, Anthony as well, maybe you could start. Could you explain to people, because there are different opinions about what rebates actually are, could you explain what a rebate actually is?
You mean in the context of the Amazon world, or like
Amazon
in general?
world.
Okay.
Amazon.
So in the context of the Amazon world, a rebate is essentially where you are incentivizing the purchase of one of your products by offering what amounts to, for lack of a better term, a refund. Rebate is just a much more compliant term to use. In some context, if you want to look at the language, it's because a refund is usually because of lack of services rendered, whereas a rebate is, this was the promotion, this was the incentivization. So yeah, you're incentivizing people by reducing all risk, telling them, if you purchase this product, we're going to give you some or all of the money back. But how that uniquely benefits Amazon sellers is that a purchase has to happen first, and the purchase is full price. And so all the benefits that might come from a full price purchase are present. And then anything that happens after that obviously is handled outside of the realm of Amazon.
Okay, and then Bacchus, what would people use a rebate service for? Because you guys used to work at a launch company together, right? So so what would people, and there's a reason I'm leading up to this. When we all spoke, we said we're going to have different opinions about this. So what would someone use a rebate for? Like, why?
The main purpose is to improve your keyword ranking, which improves your visibility. Ideally, that improves your organic sales. That's the entire purpose of it. Some people use them for rebates. Sometimes, for reviews. Sometimes they're widely abused, and sometimes they're not. So I'm of the opinion that a rebate in and of itself, like, it's the singular action. If you don't add layers to it, there's nothing wrong with it. If you start adding the layers of, like, I'm going to push out 100 a day for 14 days, I'm going to start asking people for reviews, I'm going to push people through a funnel and try to gain their information off Amazon. So if you start adding these layers to these things, that's where Amazon's like, hey, we don't like that. I don't think that Amazon cares about a rebate, just the definition of it. They have their own mail-in rebate program. It's very small, but they do have it. I think all this comes from, this is just my theories, my interpretation of everything, is that this is all about a cash grab for Amazon, and they don't want to be in the news. So they had a down quarter, they had a bad quarter, and that's taken notice. So they've realized that there are sellers out there spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on rebates using ManyChat or other services out there. And that's the high end of it. But still, like, to them, it's like, hey, we could make some money off of this. They did it with reviews, with their Vine program. It's been revamped 4 or 5 times. They're doing it with external traffic because they have their attribution program. They're trying to build a closed ecosystem of advertising. That's my opinion. And also, this is just a month later after that. The FTC letter that they sent out to 700 businesses, putting them all on notice about fake reviews and other misleading endorsements. Each one of those violations, the FTC will fine Amazon up to $43,000. So this is all just Amazon's like, we don't. This is them covering themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Amazon cares about a singular rebate. It's how you use the rebates. I know. I mean, well, I don't want to say I know. I'm almost certain that Amazon doesn't care what URL you use. I don't think that they care about you running a sale to gain keyword ranking. It's how often you do it. So
we haven't got to that part. Why are you jumping so far ahead, Marcus? All she asked was, why do people
We're
use
not
rebates?
there yet. We're not there
We
yet.
haven't even shared that yet.
Sorry.
So this leads me to this, right?
I'm done. I'll see y'all later. That's all I have to say.
No. I'd love to talk about that because so here's the thing. If we were to go back to when did you guys start working in the company that you guys were working for with the launch company? How long ago was it? 2017?
No, I started there in 2014.
2014. Okay.
I was
Nice.
employee number 1.
That's amazing. So what was Amazon's TOS back then around this? Was there anything around keyword manipulation or ranking manipulation back then?
So there was not. So back then there wasn't a code of conduct. It was a terms of service.
Terms of service, yeah.
And in terms of service, seller prohibited activity. Gosh, this was so long ago. So when I started, seller prohibited activities included. I want to say that it did include some language to the with regard, but it was more like trying to keep people from doing like fake orders. It was very, very vague at the time, and it wasn't as robust as what happened later. Was they added the misuse of keyword rank or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, see, there was never any language that said anything about keyword manipulation. It was always sales rank. So while I was at that company, they changed the terms of service to include language that kind of more robustly addressed what essentially amounted to, and I know this because I had several correspondence with people that worked at Amazon, brushing and fake orders. But it was so vaguely worded that everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're going after launch services, which had literally just started probably 14 months prior. And then not but a couple months later, they banned incentivized reviews. So when I started, there was like, hey, don't mislead people. Don't try to take advantage of anybody. It was like so basic, right? Like, don't cheat customers, basically. And then it was like, also maybe try not to cheat our system with fake orders. And then they were like, okay, you can't incentivize stuff because we see what you're doing now. And then from there, they added probably 2016, 2017, they added that snippet about manipulating the search and browse experience, which was them basically saying, hey, we know what sellers are doing, but we're going to put this in here to justify any action we take. But they weren't taking broad sweeping action at that point. They were just kind of paying attention to the world. So these are like the stages. And then they scrapped the TOS altogether and made this super vague code of conduct that just kind of surface level says you can't do any kind of manipulation. But what does that mean? Obviously, they didn't define it. So that's where we're at.
So I started selling on Amazon in 2016. And I remember at around 2017, like everyone was doing giveaways and rebates. And and I'm not saying this because we're live. Like I've actually legitimately never done a rebate or a giveaway. I've always launched with PPC and other ways. And I had an argument with a seller the other day about the way that I approach Amazon today. And he said to me, you can't pretend that you've done everything white hat. And I said, of course I've not done everything white hat. I mean, I won't say what I've done on here, but I don't know any seller that's done every single thing white hat, but I can say that for me, from the day that I started selling, I always knew that keyword manipulation was against terms of service, right? The same way that I knew other stuff that I chose to do, but this was one of those things that I didn't do. Because I was having a conversation with Adam Heiss the other day, and he was saying, but I thought this was only something that was done recently. But I remember, well, even in 2017, that when I looked at it, I was like, okay, I can't do this because it's not safe to do it. So this is today's code of conduct. I don't know how long this has been up for, but I looked at this about 3.5 weeks ago. So anyone listening to us on the podcast, I have a screen up of the code of conduct. It's a screenshot, which is why it looks a bit weird. And one of the things it says here is, okay, got to put my glasses on for it. Hold on. Providing misleading or inappropriate information to Amazon or customers. That's not it. Manipulating sales ranks, such as by accepting fake orders or orders that you have paid for, or making claims about sales rank in product titles or descriptions. And artificially inflating web traffic using bots or paying for clicks, for example. Is there anything else there? Allowing other people to act on you? No, that's the main two things. So when we read that, what is your interpretation of that today, Bacchus, for example?
I still like they've changed the wording slightly, but it still is like they don't want fake traffic, they don't want fake orders, they don't want fake customers, like brushing, for example. So the part that, okay, so I don't like the way this is worded. I know the reason they've written it this way. It's written by a lawyer and it's vague, so they can swing that hammer at will. I still don't like it. When it says the orders you have paid for, what does that mean? They're not going to say rebates because they still have their own rebate program. So I don't know what that means. We don't know what that means. Does that mean a rebate? Or are they, maybe it's talking about both. Is it rebates where somebody makes a purchase and then they request a rebate after the sale? Or is this where it's like, hey, Anthony, I need you and all of your family to go buy my new product and leave a review because I just launched it and I'll pay you back. Is that, maybe they're talking about both. I don't know.
And we'll never
at least
know.
The latter.
You have to understand that this stuff stays vague because if they were, here's the thing, everybody wants to think, and obviously this is part of it. They keep it vague so they can swing the hammer whenever they want. But really, it's because if they're specific, it becomes that much easier for us to get around it, right? If they tell you this specific thing is the thing you can't do, then guess what? We, people like, and I say people like us because we have legitimately worked in the capacity of doing this, will find a way to sidestep that and say, well, what we did actually isn't exactly what this says.
Sure. No, I agree. I still don't, the information from the moderator is still just, it's information from a moderator. They don't have access to high level information that we don't have access to. If there's
I'm pretty sure you're wrong about that.
Okay.
In the job description, it literally says that they have the ability and capacity to represent Amazon, and they have access to internal information, which means they have access to wikis that we do not have access to.
But wait.
I'm talking about information. I'm talking about upcoming policies.
People don't know what we're talking about yet. So let's explain. There was in the Amazon seller forums. I got this screenshot from Anthony, obviously, who was the first to share this. There was conversations about, I don't know what led to this, Anthony, maybe you could tell us, but conversation about rebates, and then an Amazon, Is this one? This one's from the Amazon moderator, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
I just realized it said C mod.
CMod is her moderator name.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
It's
I
a
thought that was
moderator named
the other
Susan.
moderator that Barkus was saying that he knows. Okay, got it. All right. So explain to us, Anthony, what happened here before this, because you saw this first.
So this is all right. So this is in the Amazon Services seller forums, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seller forums is not a place I suggest anybody ever go. The conversations there are rarely helpful. It's worse than Reddit. However, U.S. announcements. Almost everybody in this industry that I know has a Gmail alert set for U.S. announcements. This is one of the best sources of information direct and live from Amazon. So in this forum, CMod, the moderator, who, if you click on, her username, you see she's been a moderator for Amazon since 2014. It's not like other forums where these are volunteer positions either. This is an employee of Amazon. If you look up job description, it explains, everything that they're responsible for. So this employee of Amazon in the U.S. announcements thread under seller forum, stickied, which means it is posted at the top and it's not
Very
moving.
Mm.
Stickied this announcement, which is a clarification of Amazon's policies on rebates and other marketing schemes, as she later explains. And the reason why this kind of shook the foundation of everything is because it uses very clear, direct language for the definitions of terms that we as sellers have literally been begging Amazon for at least 6 years. At least we've been asking, what do you mean by this in your terms? And this moderator just came out and spelled it out. So right now, as you can see, me and Barkus even have a level of disagreement because he says, hey, the moderator's words don't mean anything. And I say, hey, she's probably got access to a wiki. Well, I'm just saying, though, this kind of illustrates the divide, right? Some people are like, take it as gospel, and other people are like,
It's like an old
what if they know something? Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at now.
So for the people that are listening to this on the podcast, the most important thing that we take from what it says here is, let me find it. Specifically, it is a violation of the Amazon Seller Code of Conduct to manipulate search rank to artificially boost your product search ranking, including through two-step URLs, super URLs, funnels, treasure hunts. That's a new wording for me, by the way. Search, find, buy, and any other form of false or misleading behavior. A service by any name that's intended to artificially boost search ranking or portray a discounted sale as full price is a violation. We've never seen Amazon use these exact wordings before, have we? In this way?
Never. They've never even said search rank. It's always been sales rank, which has always caused a little confusion. But for the most part, people kind of stand on one side, like, hey, sales rank is BSR. We've looked at it. We've asked, seller support and other members of their team, like, what does this mean? Sales rank is always BSR. And granted, there's some level of manipulation that can happen there that's been divorced from search rank forever. And then this person just comes out and says, nope, we're talking about keyword search rank. How you do it, we know. You're using these methods. You're using URLs. To answer kind of your confusion about the terms that you're not familiar with, because a lot of people have been kind of like, what do they mean, funnels? Funnels and treasure hunt are very specifically the two services that got pulled from the API, Elite Seller and Rebate Key. Those are features of those two. Elite Seller had funnels, which is their rebate service, and then Rebate Key had treasure hunt, which is search, find, buy. So to Barkus's credit, it does sound like she was kind of posting retaliatory to, what was done to them. And that might not necessarily be a blanket statement that is applicable to their policies. But I'll let Barkus kind of share his thoughts on this.
Yeah. So I didn't say she didn't know what she was talking about. I just Look, this is not typical official Amazon language. If just the way you read it, if you read this statement about off Amazon rebates, discounts, and other schemes, so all of a sudden an off Amazon a discount is a scheme. Amazon does it. That's not Amazon's language. This is this moderator's interpretation of whatever she saw. Maybe she saw something, whatever. I'm not saying she's wrong. There's some morsels of truth in here, I'm sure, but I'm just skeptical because it it just doesn't sound like official language. Also, the super URLs, funnels, treasure hunts, like Amazon doesn't call out people in policy changes. They don't call out businesses like that. And another reason, here's another thing too. If you go into the Amazon Seller Partner Network where you can search for businesses, right? If you type in rebate, there's still 2 services out there that are up in the partner network. And there's still probably a dozen more that offer rebates that just don't have it in the description, so it's not pulling it up. So why weren't those taken down? Because somebody would have shared a letter. So I'm not saying any of this is wrong. It's just I'm a little skeptical of like, where's the Amazon official language? I don't want to get information from a moderator because it leads to everybody speculating, and everybody's got a different opinion. I'm speculating off of their speculation because we know this is not 100% copied from an Amazon policy. Maybe she was in a meeting, she heard something on a Zoom call, and it's like, oh, okay, boom, boom, boom,
Or maybe in like a week or from now, we'll be seeing this exact language in the code of conduct.
It's possible. It's possible that this is 100% language. I don't think it is. Again, like it's very clear that the off Amazon discounts, okay, don't do them anymore. But Amazon in their language, they're not going to call it a scheme because it's not a scheme. Offering a discount, again, the discounts and rebates by themselves, by definition, it's not misleading behavior. It's how you use that.
Okay, so what is the difference, in your opinion, or what is the difference between search, find, buy, and rebates?
Search, find, buy, by definition, is just a strategy. Search, find, buy, meaning like, and here's another issue that I have with this. It's like, so what is Amazon trying to tell me is that I can't tell Anthony, hey man, I just launched this product. The best way to find it is type in this keyword and go to this page, and there it is. So that's misleading behavior? No, it is not misleading behavior because I'm sending traffic to Amazon's marketplace and I'm saying, hey, here's this product. And I think what Amazon is trying to say, or they will clarify this better, is like, don't do that with a rebate. Don't do that and ask for a review, or don't do that with something else.
Or don't abuse it. I mean,
yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
I've been saying this for a while too. Like everything. And first of all, Amazon knows. Once upon a time, I used to be really active in the subreddit for Fulfillment by Amazon. While I was in there, I was giving advice to people. I gave some advice, got hit up in private by a member who was like, hey, just FYI, I am an Amazon employee. And what you're saying is dangerous because we're literally about to pull the plug on that in terms of service like next week. And I was like, prove it. Anyway, he did. And that's when I realized Amazon knows all of the stuff that we're doing. And they know it well before we think they've caught on. What's happening is when too much abuse comes in, they take action. When too many people are using it for a specific purpose, and here's the caveat: in the terms of service, that's no longer around because it's now code of conduct. It still lets us know what Amazon was thinking. In the terms of service, before they disappeared, they had added that they don't want any manipulation of the search and browse experience, which told me they actually care about the search and browse experience. And the search and browse experience is the part most meaningful to what we're doing. It has nothing to do with sales rank manipulation. Like what your BSR does not matter. What matters is where do you show up in their relevance engine? Because remember, Amazon cares a lot. They put a lot of money into developing this relevance engine. That whole presentation that Danny did, was proof of that. This is a very concerted effort for them. Where your product shows up in the relevance engine, they don't actually want you to manipulate that. So I've been saying for a while now, the more everybody starts using these methods to that end, At some point, Amazon is going to step in. Now, whether or not this means that people are going to start getting suspended, who knows? Maybe they're just using this as a scare tactic. Somebody said, hey, why don't you post this in the forums? Either way, I take this to mean that Amazon has been for a long time fully aware of rebates, but now I think that they take issue with it because of the fact that one, it is specifically used more often than not these days to manipulate that search and browse experience, and two, just like this moderator said, it's a discount. It's almost like false advertising because you're telling the whole world the product is $29.99 on Amazon, but then you're telling this group, hey, in secret, I'm going to give you that $29.99 back. And they're like, we don't like that. And I think that I personally think they're going to enforce that, including with big brands, because everybody's like, well, what about that gift card or that coupon you get in the Samsung TV that says you get a rebate? I think they're going to tell them to stop. I think they're going to tell them to stop that too, just on the Amazon platform. They'll be like, look, whatever you do outside Amazon, we don't care. But on Amazon, you can't tell everybody your TV costs $900 and then turn around and say, hey, we'll give you half of that back if you purchase it on Amazon. I think that they're done with that. That's my personal opinion.
Bacchus, do you have anything to add to that? I don't think they'll ever come after big brands like that. That's just, they mean too much to Amazon's ecosystem. It was a big deal when Nike and Birkenstock and several other brands just like, we're not selling on there anymore. And because they're like, you don't, like Nike was just like, you don't tell us what to do. We're Nike. So, which they have their opinion and Amazon has their opinion. I don't think they'll ever come after big brands like that because I don't think the big brands they don't need to manipulate. Like Nike and Samsung doesn't even need to give. They're just like, hey, here's our new $40,000 TV. And people still snatch it right up. They have that brand leverage. They don't have to offer a discount. So I don't think it's that big there. I think maybe big in our terms is like maybe, mid to high 8-figure, low 9-figure sellers. Those are the people that are going to get hit because they're still doing stuff like that. And not everybody is, of course. I'm not saying that everybody that's successful is manipulating the market, but I think they'll come after them, but not these global brands. I think that this has a lot to do with that letter that came out last month. They want to stay out of because the government doesn't like Amazon. They're constantly trying to break them up. And I don't want to get into politics, but we just know that it's like every 3 or 4 months, there's some congressperson that's trying to, break them up or whatever. So, and there's always speculation. Amazon just had to pay $60 million in a lawsuit, the FTC filed, because the FTC, this is their language, the FTC deemed that they stole $60 million in tips from Amazon drivers for between 2016 and 2019. One guy got up to $28,000 back in tips. So it was a significant lawsuit. I think Amazon wants to stay out of there. I think that, and I'm sure a lot of this is coming from, okay, now the FTC is looking at these things. So now we're going to make them against terms of service. And I know that I know ultimately at the end of the day, Amazon wants the best products in front of the best customers. They don't want people coming in and getting rebates. They don't want people coming in and just giving 5-star reviews. They want people to come in here and make organic purchases. They also like external traffic. So but that's where this gray area is like, what can I do as a brand owner now that Amazon's not going to shut me down? Because they will shut you down. They'll shut you down because they don't want to get fined $43,000 if the FTC finds that you have one fake review.
Do you think it's, Bacchus, do you think it's only what you're saying, or do you think it's also that Amazon wants to keep everything within their ecosystem, like Anthony was saying earlier? Use our advertising, use Amazon's PPC, spend money that comes to our pockets at the end of the day in order to launch.
It's money and power. Yeah. That's, it's America 101. So it's kind of like it doesn't surprise me. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise. I still think that they will come out with a revamped rebate program for sellers, and they'll beta test it with select few, and then they'll roll out through brand registry. And that makes sense if they're like, well, you can't do it. We're doing it, but you can't do it. But now here's our new program. Again, they did it with external traffic for attribution. They did it with reviews. So like, you can't ask for reviews this way, but you can do it with our program.
They're doing it with data and software, right? They haven't made using that data against terms yet, but like, it's very obvious that they're going to make a lot of the softwares in our space start sweating, because they're just going to keep adding all of these features to brand analytics. And then people are going to be like, why would I even pay for this software if I have it all here? So yeah, no, they're definitely building out that ecosystem. They want to control the data. They've been saying forever. Here's my thing. Years ago, they try to tell all of us sellers, like, hey, these are our customers, not yours. So they started kind of taking the customer data away from us. I was around when we still got phone numbers. And they took those away. And then slowly they took everything else away, because they're like, hey, these are our customers. The thing is, then they want to turn around and say, and everybody probably remembers this battle, they wanted to turn around and go, when it comes to taxes, oh, no, those are your customers. And that's when the government stepped in and said, hey, there's a disparity here. Either they're their customers or they're your customers. And since you insist they're your customers, well, now that the government stepped in and said, hey, you're responsible for these taxes, these are your customers, Amazon has no incentive to allow for anything outside of the Amazon sphere to exist anymore. So they can just come in and be like, all right, the masses want the data, here's the data. The masses want the features, here's the features. And then just makes sense for them to make it against terms to utilize third parties, because, they can, right? Like, this is classic monopoly behavior, but that's what Amazon is, and so they're going to continue to do that, I think.
I can say that my take always on these, and Bacchus and I have spoken about it in an Israeli Facebook group in the past. I've always considered the stuff that we spoke about today, in my opinion, I always read it to be keyword manipulation at the end of the day, where people are trying to obviously rank their products by obviously giving products away in some way, right? Again, I'm not some angel. I've taken calculated risks in the past. That was one of the calculated risks that I did not take, because I didn't need to. At the end of the day, I wasn't in these huge categories where I really need to. I was in very specific niches where it wasn't needed. So I never went that path. What is the future, in your opinion, for launching on Amazon 2022 onwards?
That's such a good question. Back to the basics, right? Look, nobody's been a louder proponent of utilizing various forms of marketing, chatbots, rebates, coupons, than me, right? I've always championed this stuff, because in my point of view, I disagree with people who are like, oh, it's blatant manipulation and you should never do it. For me, it's like, look, we can get away with this. We're trying to feed our families, and we're not taking advantage of anybody. So as long as you offer a good product and it's a win-win, if that means you skirt some of Amazon's more vague rules, whatever. In my opinion, Amazon breaks a ton of law, corporate welfare. We're not talking about politics. I'm just saying, I'm not worried about hurting Amazon's feelings. So I've always been a proponent. Now it looks like Amazon's saying, hey, we don't like that. Okay, then we don't have to do that. Let's go back to the basics, right? Let's set up more strategic PPC, because one of the problems with using these marketing tactics is that it becomes a crutch. And now it's, let me get the fastest thing I can get from Alibaba, put my logo on it, and then use this crutch to launch it and make some money. It's like, you're not really building a brand there. You're not building a business. You're not doing anything that's going to be scalable, that you're going to be able to bequeath to your children or flip for a reasonable amount of money, if that's what you're trying to do. So set up strategic PPC. PPC is going to be huge. I think it's going to be way huger. We know that Amazon likes external traffic. Google ads and Google SEO, hard stuff that people usually avoid because it's hard. I think this is going to be the new way to go because this is what legitimate businesses do. Legitimate businesses go out there and they use Google, which is one of the biggest resources. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that, and I think that's a good thing. And then outside of that, more thought into adding as much value as possible. How do you stick out, against your competitors? Like, you actually have to play the game and run a business like a business now. I think all changes like this do is kind of cut some of the unnecessarily crud.
Get rich quick.
Right?
Sellers.
Yeah. It cuts a little bit of that away, and then it makes it to where the playing field is going to be mostly people who take it seriously. So, what are you doing to take it seriously? It does, even if you're not like building a robust brand, you're still putting an image forward. You're having an offer. You're making that offer as valuable as humanly possible so that you can stand out. And then you're using smart and strategic marketing and advertising tactics in order to gain visibility and earn sales. So I know that was a little vanilla, but that's what I think the majority of people will do.
Bacchus.
I'll always lean toward list building. I've been talking about it forever. Meaning, and then for anybody who is not familiar, is like having a solid product insert that is not trying to manipulate anything. It's like literally like a warranty or, hey, click here to register your product, for whatever reason. Start building lists, all around your brand. A list of, build this pipeline, build this master list, and then there's VIP people, maybe people that beta test your product, maybe they are loyalty people. These people spend the most amount of money with your company every year, and they get access to special deals off Amazon, right? I'm talking about off Amazon stuff as well as on Amazon. I think what the future is, I hope the future is that more businesses selling on Amazon learn to leverage all of these great ways to sell off Amazon. I know that's not the cool thing. I know that even when it comes to like looking at valuations, if you want to sell your business, most aggregators aren't even really concerned with that right now. I think it'll be more important as we go down the road for multiple reasons. But and it's telling of the times. If you look at something like what Facebook is doing with Meta, like it's not about that. They are really encouraging and people to come on and create content, not just gaming, but just content in general. Right now, they are incentivizing, like if you're a creator on Facebook, if you get into that program, every new subscriber you get, $20. You get to keep 100% of your subscriptions, and you get to download the name and email address list. I think that is very aggressive by Facebook. It's like, we want your content. If you learn how to really create content around your products, not just like, hey, this is my new product, this is my thing, but if you learn how to talk about it, create content about it, you start building these lists and these communities everywhere you go, then when you're ready to launch a new product, it's like, I've got 25,000 people on this list that's curated, that want to know when new products come out. Then I'm like, hey, here's this new product, it's on Amazon.
Bacchus, do you remember? I agree with both of you and everything that you've said. Do you remember when you invited me on to speak in your little group when you were working at Helium 10? And my presentation was about differentiation.
Yep.
What frustrates me about this conversation is that what you guys are describing is what, I think I've been preaching from day one. And I think also you guys have probably been preaching it from day one, but it is not what most people teach in this industry. Most people don't teach to sell to sell brands or to build a brand. They teach to sell products.
Well, because that's the long play. Like it's not cool.
Because people live in Amazon 2016, people that were successful in 2015, 16, 17, 18. Many people are still teaching those methods today, where we're living a different Amazon today. It is not the same Amazon when I started selling on Amazon. It's definitely not the same Amazon that Anthony, if you started in 2014, you're like way old school. It's totally different. It's very different today, right? It wasn't as saturated. It was really easy. You could just put a cup, put your own logo on, and that's it. It's different today. It is all about understanding your buyer. It is all about understanding the buying intent behind a keyword. It is understanding how to differentiate, etc. And the keyword that you guys both used here is brand building, building a brand. And have you, if either of you ever had your products attacked and taken down for a good amount of time?
No, I never got it. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
So,
Thankfully, no.
so last year, I don't know if, I think Barkus knows, Anthony, I don't know if you know what happened to me last year on Prime Day. I had one of my brands attacked with a lot of really ugly keywords that somehow appeared in one of my Canadian account and one of my Canadian listings, and then took down an entire brand on the US. No one knows how it happened. I'm pretty sure it was internal from Amazon, but it doesn't matter. It was. I made a whole story about it. You guys can go watch it later. I made a YouTube video and showed how I got it back and everything. But what I learned from that was, as a mom, as someone who has a mortgage, as someone who, you know, has a lot of responsibilities, I wear a lot of responsibilities on my back. I was like, thank God this is not the only way that I make money. Thank God that I do not only rely on Amazon, and that I also sell outside of Amazon, that I also have different brands. Thank God that I don't have all my thank God, thank me that I actually did it. But you know what I mean? That I don't have all my eggs in one basket, because if this was all I had, like, I need to put food on the table, right? Yeah. And I think that today it is crucial to not put all your eggs in one basket. You can never rely only on Amazon. You know, we have zero control when we sell on Amazon, and we play in their rules. Everything is by their rules. And the one thing that we have to do is start to actually build brands and you know, do real business. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. Here's the thing. I have friends. I know people personally who had almost everything with regard to their physical products business reliant on Amazon, and it went away. I know some who have decided to shift their focus elsewhere. I know others that just stayed the course on Amazon and built it back up again. And that's amazing, and that's wonderful. And that's the beauty of Amazon. That opportunity exists.
Agreed.
However, I've been saying this since I started on Amazon. It's a channel. If you treat it like it's the only thing, like, it's a channel. There's no reason. And what frustrates me is that there's so many well-respected thought leaders in this space who are always like, don't focus off of Amazon. There's no reason to. The money's too easy. And the reason is because they have interest in making sure that people stay on Amazon, because they're selling courses and they're selling info, and they need the audience to stay right there and consume their content, which, you know, I mean, some of these guys are my friends, and I like them a lot. And, you know, I understand it's all marketing, but it kind of pisses me off a little bit, because it's like,
well, they're teaching what they know. At least they're not saying go do Walmart and they're pretending to know about Walmart. So at least they're.
I mean, they are. There are many of them doing that, but okay, yep.
Well, okay. I'm trying to be like, you know, yeah. There's bad players in literally everything. But if you go talk to the DTC space, the direct to consumer, everybody that has their own website on, all of them are like, no, we don't do Amazon. It's crazy. It's too. And we look at like having a Shopify site and trying to build that presence the same way. It's because we're all in our own lanes for the most part, right?
Yeah.
I'm never going to try to talk to anybody about getting products on Wayfair because I don't know the first thing about it. So,
but you also won't tell people don't do that, because there's too much opportunity on Amazon. And I mean, we're talking 8 and 9 figure people who have chosen that hill to die on. Like, Amazon, you have to extract every bit of value outside of Amazon. If you get distracted, you're going to hurt your business. And it's like, most of the time, these guys manage to launch enough products to let the winds of good fortune take them to a place where 80% of the people they're preaching this to are not going to see. So it's just like, first of all, like, where you're coming from is totally absurd. Here's the other thing I want to point out. It's not just, because so many people, the defense against what you just said, Sharon, was that's doom and gloom. No, most people don't get suspended. you're right. Most people don't get suspended. It's not just the doom and gloom stuff about suspension either. It's the fact that Amazon has a particular type of buyer, and the trends are not anything that we can manipulate or even predict accurately. The trends on Amazon, they just move. Nobody knew that the fidget spinner was going to get big, but it did. And then nobody knew it was going to die literally overnight. I have a personal friend who was big in the fidget spinner space. He saw it start to decline, and he had enough inventory. He thought, I'm just going to sell out over Christmas, and then I think I'm going to get into a new product. Legit, the very next day, within 24 hours, the business halted 95%, and he got stuck with over 500,000 units.
Wow.
And he couldn't offload them for years. And it's because that's just how trends work on Amazon. It's a shopping mall. It's going to be different than a boutique store, right? So you have these trends, and your product could just one day be out of vogue. And then when that happens on Amazon, what happens? Almost everybody's gone through this. You lower your price, you start doing like massive, orange coupon sales to try and liquidate. You start telling people in the Facebook groups, hey, does anybody know a liquidator? I got to get rid of these products. Why? Well, because for whatever reason, people just stop buying it. That can happen. And that's the reason why you just have to treat it like a channel,
I think that Amazon, by the way, what happened to me specifically was me and many, many, many other sellers within my niche, including sellers that I know that are also, service providers that I know that they're my competitors. I just don't know that they're my competitors. But anyway, we all went through the same thing. Everyone, there was a flat file that was uploaded with a whole bunch of I wish I could lion's air and all sorts of weird keywords put in the back end, right? And then it took our entire listings down. But anyway, the reason that I said that is because I feel that it is crucial today I think that all these things that we spoke about, rebates and all these things, I think that if you're not going to be looking at building a brand today on Amazon, you're not going to last. At the end of the day, maybe you'll have a good couple of months of selling, but at the end, we've seen the shift, especially in the last year, that Amazon has made towards giving brand owners, right, and encouraging people to get brand registered, etc. The type of benefits that you have, there's way more benefits today than there was last year as well, or even 2 years ago as well, to people who are brand registered. There are so many people that wrote comments here. I ignored everyone watching us in the live, which is mostly people that we all know. So first of all, Catherine said hello. Somebody said that, we don't know who this is, that Anthony Lee is the GOAT, which is true. Ryan said, is this Amazon's attempt to push the seller community to tell on sellers who are engaging in those programs?
They've always been doing. No, this is the tattletale system has been up since I started.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, I will just go with what Anthony said. You can tell these two are mates, like a couple bickering. That was Danny. Saibi said they're mates. I thought they were a couple.
We are having lunch tomorrow, so.
Marcus did say that Anthony's his Amazon husband. Yeah. Amazon owns the playground, the ball, and the goalpost. Of course, they can put the rules. If we want to play their game, then we have to suck it up, right? Yes. Anyway, I'd like to know what Barcus's magic bookshelves. Barcus, what's going on with your bookshelves? How are they just like floating like that?
There's this little L-shaped bracket, and you get them off Amazon. Anyway, they're more like this. It's an L-shaped bracket. You just mount it to the wall, and then this book is kind of the bottom of it's kind of clipped in. So
Barcus, you should make content around that and then send everyone to the Amazon link and have the Amazon associate link. Have you guys seen, this is totally off subject. Did you guys know, Anthony as well, did you guys know that Amazon Live influencers and influencers in general are being, Amazon's approaching them to create content, on the listing at the bottom where there's videos? Mm-hmm. Like the videos that reviewers can upload, etc. Do you know that Amazon is pushing Amazon associates to make videos for there? Is that like something that anyone's talking about in the industry? No,
I know. It's the first I heard of it. That's awesome.
Okay. This is just one more thing that I was thinking about when it comes to what Amazon is doing Rana said it's a constant cat and mouse game. Seller services will always find another angle to exploit the algorithm. Yep, that's true. But you know how back in the days, you guys remember, I don't know if people still do this, that people would use, not me, but other people would use things like Funnel Guru to get ungated. Do you guys remember when that was like a thing to get ungated for categories? Anthony, there's no way you don't know what I'm talking about.
This is not a strategy for ungating that I am familiar with. You know, I've always known it as like, go get the receipts or hire a wholesaler or something like that.
So there was a person called Funnel Guru where everyone would go to them, they'd pay them to basically get them ungated. And I remember when that was a thing and people were using that. And then my lawyer, El Kabili, which I'm sure you guys know, said to me a couple of months ago, she said, you know, a really huge account has just been taken down on Amazon recently because Amazon was basically telling them off something totally non-related to the invoices. And then Amazon was trying to take the seller down, and it was like a big lawyer case, etc. And then the reason they took them down in the end was non-related. It was because of fake invoices that they used, right? And then El Kabili said to me, we both obviously live in Israel, and she's my actual like lawyer. She said to me, anything that you have done in the past, she said to me as a seller, she said, anything you've done in the past that's black hat, know that in the future it can come and bite you in the ass, even if it's 4 or 5 years from now. Wow. Right? And I remember I was shitting myself, and I was sitting there, I was thinking about all the things that I had never done because I've, you know, and I'm an angel, I've done everything the right way. But I was thinking about, you know, all the things that people may have done at the very beginning when they first launched. And this one thing about the rebates, etc., I can tell you that it'll be interesting to see what the future will hold for big accounts, right? For big accounts that all they did was launch with rebates and search, find, buy, and things like that.
It could possibly be a thing. Here's the thing, though. Yale's not wrong, right? Like, you can definitely get bit in the butt by something that you did years later. But also, and this is one of the reasons why, like, I don't get along very well with the suspension prevention consultants. I've had kind of back and forths before, because a lot of the stance is, you know, you can't do this stuff, or it's like going to destroy your business. And like, you know how many times I've gotten in trouble and I'm just a squeaky wheel until Amazon makes me not get in trouble anymore. Like, it's all negotiable. It's all negotiable. So in my opinion, if you have a business that you've built on the back of rebates that actually managed to grow to an organic place, and Amazon starts throwing stuff at you, I think you can figure it out. You know, that's one of those things where you could just be like, look, you guys didn't make it explicit. Now it's explicit. This is BS, and fight it, because like Barkus kept mentioning, they don't want the trouble that comes from that. Yeah. And there's a lot of trouble that comes from it. If you start messing with a brand's money and they're actually big enough, like there's trouble there that they just don't want. So I'm of the opinion that this kind of thing is something that most people can probably, like, if you want to stop doing that stuff today, sure. If you're still doing it, I personally know plenty of people that are still going to. And I think that the people who get in trouble in the future, if that ever comes, you know, they'll
figure it out
to claw back. So I'm not going to be the one to say, hey, everybody, you better stop it right now. Everything's going to fall apart. No, just, you know, make good decisions, whatever those decisions are for your brand. I always stand very firmly on the fact that the ultimate goal, whether you're building a brand, whether you're doing all of these things or not, the ultimate goal is that you should be providing value. The reason why I've never had a problem with rebates is because ultimately, kind of messes with Amazon's plans, but it gives great value to the buyers. Dude, who could possibly argue that? The people who are getting these rebates, man, they're making out like freaking awesome. I know people who are couponers, dude, that's all they buy. And they have a stock room in their house full of stuff that they got, like, all grand total for like $30. And that's awesome. So for me, do whatever's best for you.
But Anthony, what about the actual Amazon buyers who are buying a product that's only discoverable to them because of the artificial sales, right? And because of those artificial sales, they also had reviews, right? And at the end of the day, it's actually not a very good product or an unsafe product.
I don't look at, okay, safety is an issue, but Amazon has supposedly fixed that by forcing everybody to have insurance and kind of, putting in systems to check for that. Certifications, the safety, I started in a baby niche before you had to have a child product certificate, but they've fixed that, and that's awesome, right? So Amazon already has solved for that. As far as the rest of your statement, I don't look at those as fake purchases. Those are real purchases. They just happen to get a rebate for them. And if it wasn't Amazon, it'd be different. If this was your own website, right, and you were finding a way to like gain visibility through doing rebates, and then people were buying, and then they were stuck with a crap product that they couldn't return, that would suck. But Amazon has so many things in place that are buyer centric. If your product has gained prominence and it's a crap product, the reviews are going to reflect it eventually, right?
And you'll lose ranking.
And you'll lose ranking eventually. And for anybody that got stuck with the product, they're not stuck with it. Amazon gives you like 60 days. And then even at the 90-day mark, you could still come back and say, hey, this product broke. And they'll be like, sure, here's your money back. So the risk is so low to the customers. And that's the reason why, that's why I've been a proponent of it. Because again, who really hurts out? Amazon mostly. And I don't really care about them. So again, do what's right for your specific situation, brand or not, take precautions, realize that the stuff is out there. Don't be surprised if you abuse it and you get just don't, if you're going to do it, fine, but just don't be surprised if like all of a sudden you can't, what we're going to see is a bunch of people going, oh my gosh, I got suspended. I don't know why. Yes, you do.
Take the calculated risk and then take ownership for your decision. Because
Exactly.
I've also seen a lot of people who have gone through, I actually know people that have used I don't know if it's a search find buy company. I don't want to say what the company name is because I don't want to say anyone's name, but I don't know if it's a search find buy or if it's a rebate company. I don't know exactly. But anyway, I know some people who have actually been suspended or had those specific listings be suspended. And the thing is, they all come from the same group. They all use the same service and they were suspended, and it was for keyword manipulation. And I don't know if the wording was keyword manipulation, but it was either rank manipulation or keyword manipulation. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen those suspensions before.
And then they would say, but blah, blah, blah told me to do it. And then I said, you made a calculated decision to do something in your business. No one was holding a gun to your head and told you to do it. You should have gone and done the research, and you made the decision at the end of the day, and it's on you. So that's something else that I think is important. Bacchus, I saw that you were like dying to say something before, but Anthony was talking and I didn't want to stop him.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of negative emphasis on the software providers, right? Like if I use Rebate Key one day, does that make me? Does that mean I'm manipulating Amazon? Well, you know what I'm saying? Like it's and here's, it's easy to point the finger, right? I don't like, and I come from the software world, so I'm biased and I have a valid opinion about this. Every time the world is ending or these vague letters come out, like you might be doing this, everybody wants to point the finger at the service that helped provide some sort of access or avenue. But nobody forced you to sign up and do those things in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So you still have to own your actions.
Are you in the alpha group, Bacchus? Anthony, I know isn't, but you're in my alpha group, right? In my Facebook group.
I think so.
Yeah. So I put a post on my opinion on the search, find, buy, and the rebate situation. And what I said was, don't be a sheep. Don't do what everyone else tells you to do. Like, do your actual research.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, I've just had to deal with it on that side, more than once in the past, and it's this thing where Well, number one, I don't like how, again, like I don't like how people want to instantly judge like Rebate Key or Elite Seller. I mean, back when, I mean, Six Leaf and Helium 10, they've all had their own little bit of scrutiny. Nobody was doing anything wrong, but it's these things that start viral and everybody's like, oh, software's bad. Well, then stop using it, dude. Nobody asked you to sign up and use any tool out there. You know, like I just know the guys at Rebate Key and I know the guys at Elite Seller. At the end of the day, I know that they're good people. We don't know exactly what happened. I'm sure that they're getting some clarity from Amazon and they're trying to uh,
Maybe.
write the things. Well, no, I don't. I'm just making an assumption here. I'm assuming that they're getting some sort of clarity to make some changes.
Yeah,
So they
hopefully.
can, yeah, you know. So it's like, okay, well now funnels are bad. Cool. Well, we won't do funnels anymore. You got, you know. And this is another thing too. I don't like how Amazon is just kind of like swings the hammer at will because again, I can go find a rebate service in Amazon Seller Partner Network. Why kill? Why knock down these two giants in the industry, but not get the other ones? Because
Well, it
what
may
you're
be a matter of time, though, Barkus.
Yeah. Yeah, we're still
if
really
I can
early on
find,
this.
well, I know, but if I can find, but my point is like it almost seems like it's a they did it for the attention more
Yeah.
than well these people are doing the wrong things, right? Again, there I could find
mean,
I could find a dozen rebate services right now. That does like
yeah.
Amazon already knows about them. Why haven't they taken them? That's my point right there. Is that Amazon has been. It seems like that they do this back and forth of we really like third party software. You know, like I've had good talks with Amazon in the past at Six Leaf, and I know that Helium 10 has had some really good talks with Amazon as well, like on their good side, right? But then all of a sudden you do this thing, and it's like, can hey, just call them up, send them a letter or something, say like, hey, look, you're not in compliance anymore. You've got 30 to 90 days or whatever to fix this, instead of just saying, boom, this is done, like you're done as a business. I don't like that. It's unprofessional. I think that they did it for attention, and I think that they did it for attention so the FTC is like, oh wow, okay, they're doing something about it. That's
Or your other theory that they're taking them out of business because they want to enter the space.
yeah, it's money
Which
and
is the
power.
only reason I think Amazon ever gets cozy.
Which is
with
there's also other things that Amazon has done, like the new product explorer opportunity thing that is now giving. It looks like they're bringing out a whole bunch of tools that will compete against certain softwares and certain softwares out there as well. Like it looks like they're slowly doing that.
They do it in the physical product space. Look, they're literally in trouble for getting caught doing this.
Yeah.
Amazon is that friend that you keep close because he's really your enemy. Like the only reason they get cozy with software, the only reason that they show love and attention to physical products is because they're gonna steal it one day. Like that's the bottom line. Everybody should just know that right out the gate. Amazon's going to screw you if they could ever make profit from it.
True. All right, we've been going for a long time. This is the only show I think that I've never seen the amount of people watching us live, the number has not gone down. It's like consistently been so much. So thank you for everyone that's been sticking with us. I think that our conclusion, the one thing we can all agree on is that the future of rebates is that it's probably something that you shouldn't really do anymore. It doesn't mean that people won't, but really, if you're not adjusting to Amazon 2021, 2022, you won't really last long. It's not about selling a random product anymore and putting your logo on it. It's about brand building on and off of Amazon as well.
Hey, look, and to give Amazon their credit, they are doing great things for brands.
They are.
I don't like a couple of things they do, but for the most part, they're like brand registry is an amazing suite of tools and services. So they're doing good things.
I love how you put that caveat. Like, look, we were bashing Amazon, but really, you guys are great. You guys are great.
I just want to make that point. I don't hate Amazon. I have made money off of Amazon.com, and I have a career because of Amazon.com. I'm just saying, hey.
You guys are also talking specifically from someone who's also been on the software side. I, at the end of the day, am a seller, and that comes first before anything else that I do. And I, as a seller, love Amazon in many ways and hate Amazon for different reasons. For example, for the fact that someone could upload a flat file with heaps and heaps and heaps of bad keywords that gives them then the ability to take down products for over a month. That is a side of Amazon that I hate. And the fact that somebody else can be using the tactics that we've been speaking about, but I'll do things legitimately and buy the book most of the time, etc. And they may get ahead quicker, although I will catch up, right? Those are the types of things that I hate about Amazon, or that they'll tell me off about something or take my main image down because it's not within TOS, but that's the things I hate about Amazon. On the software side, if I'm honest, as a seller, I don't care. As a seller, right? Those are things that don't impact me, right? Sure. Specifically. So as a seller, I have a love-hate relationship with Amazon for different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are both sellers, true, but you have this one thing that I don't, which is also the software side of things. So you may have even more hate than I do, basically.
I think I probably am just the grumpiest when it comes to Amazon. But I've also, out of the three of us, I've been in the game longest, and that's probably why. Because
it's true.
I've really had to deal with them. But you know, like we've said multiple times, at the end of the day, Amazon's a channel.
It is.
Treat your business like a business. Make calculated risks. Ultimately, you know, I agree with you that you should build a brand, but I'm not even going to say that's what you have to do. Ultimately, for me, it's just provide value, right? So that means that you're going to build a community, maybe internally give them rebates and leave Amazon out of it because you just want to provide value, right? The whole game is get people to become raving fans of whatever it is that you're offering. That's how you win at the small level and at the big level. So provide value, make that be your focus. Then, you know, you're probably going to come out all right, in my opinion.
100%. I agree with you. I don't think that there is only one way of doing. I know, for example, that I find my ways are I find a certain buyer avatar, I find their problems, and I fix their problems with products. And I know other sellers that they sell random things. They just do it better than everyone else, and they make more money than I do. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no one way. The point is, though, that it's just not, you know, Anthony, everything's a lot harder today from when you started and from when I started, because not only do you now have to deal with Amazon, we also have everything going on with supply chain and how difficult that is today, right? So there's many, many things today that I think it's just Amazon 2021 is going to weed out all the people that don't have the resilience and the ability to actually do things properly. Today, you actually have to be good at product development as well and supply chain to sell on Amazon. Back in the day, you didn't have to even understand how to work with China or to think about finding other supplies from different countries. You didn't even need to think about that stuff back in the day. You have to today.
You either have to get good at it yourself to bootstrap, or you have to have a lot more skills to bootstrap now than you did in 2014, 100%. Or you have to have enough money and knowledge to hire the right people. Who are you calling a turncoat? Danny. Anyway.
Bacchus, you know, as Anthony was talking, I was just looking. Do you know that your background today you look sleek today, Bacchus? Your shirt and that background, I just noticed it now. You look sleek. It just made me think that I have to change my entire background now.
I put this on for Tony, not for you.
Barkus is the GQ model, right? And I'm in a garage. Everybody's like, is that a bike? What is in your background? Like,
why is there half a wooden wall behind you?
Right? That's my backdrop, and then the water heater and the recycling bin is just chilling right there.
How are people still here? You guys don't even understand. There are so many people watching this live. I feel sorry for the people on that.
Everybody got really interested when they realized that Barkus has his first two buttons unbuttoned. Then they were like, I'm going to stick around for that.
All right, let's wrap it up. Anthony, any last words before I ask you to tell anyone where they can find you if they want to get a hold of you?
You know, I think my last words were, you know, just to provide value. If you have any questions, you know, we can talk about it. Ultimately, stay in the game long enough until you're at a point where you need Sharon's or mine help growing your business, and then get to a point where you can go to Barkus and sell it. This is the game. Let's try to get there. That's the finish line.
The way I see us on the thing is actually good. I can help you start. You go to Anthony to scale, and then you go to Barkis to sell.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
Anthony, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can find, where can they find you? Or follow you on TikTok or something? You have only like 1 follower on TikTok. You need a lot of more followers.
Right. No, I need help on Twitter. That's where I'm lacking.
Twitter's the new thing.
It's not new. I've been on all of the. It's just Twitter's growing very slowly. But you can reach out to me directly through email, anthonylee@canopymanagement.com, or social media, AnthonyLee991. Literally every platform: Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of them. So.
Damn it! I think I only follow you on TikTok. I'm gonna go follow you. Oh, and Instagram. I'm gonna go follow you everywhere. Barkis. Last words, and then anything you want to add before?
I would say don't leverage one tool or tactic too much. Meaning, like even PPC. If you've been selling on Amazon long enough, you've been doing really well on PPC, and then all of a sudden Amazon makes a shift, and all of your campaigns go to crap.
Mm-hmm.
If that's where all of your advertising spend is at, then you're at a loss. So yes, learn PPC. It is a very valuable tool. Don't depend on it. Use other. Just learn how to just learn how to advertise outside of Amazon, because you're going to learn your customer avatar better. When you learn them better, it's easier to speak to them. It's easier to speak to them. It's easier to sell to them.
And then where can people reach you?
Yeah, just Barkis@emergent.com. I'm on Facebook, and just all the social medias. You can find me all there. So
cool. All right, everyone. There were a lot of comments here as we were speaking. I didn't put everything up, but we'll go and comment on those later. Saibi, I saw everything you wrote. You haven't been on here for a long time, so hi, Saibi. Thanks for everyone that was watching us. If anyone wants to reach out to me, you can find me on Sharon Evan YouTube channel or my Facebook group, Amazon FBA Alphas. Isabella will be back on Monday, and Danny will be back on Tuesday. Thank you, guys. I should have you guys on like very, very often. We have great conversations. You guys you can tell you're like best buddies. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye guys.